Are we familiar with this tune? Some are, some are not. We'll do our best to just do a couple of verses of Beyond Unbelief in honor of President Mills. So this is a special request once again. If you do know the song, please do join us to sing it. And please sing with fervor. So again, the wreath-laying ceremony in honor of President Mills will take place on Thursday, the 24th of July at the Assembly Park at 9:30 a.m. We will now take Atta assassination. Thank you very much. Please remain seated while Your Excellency provides. Many thanks again to our chairman of the board. Please permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to make this urgent announcement, and please, it's very important. We have a mother with an autistic child who has been waiting to leave. Unfortunately, there are two vehicles that are blocking
of some meals. 13 years old. I
In 2011, he appointed me as chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, making me the first woman to hold that position in Ghana's history. Today, I speak as a mentee, reflecting on the profound impact of a teacher who saw potential where others saw youth, who offered opportunity where others saw inexperience, and who built bridges where others saw divisions. The theme for this year's memorial lecture is Atta, a case study for the Fourth Republic. I will be approaching this theme through three lenses. I will look at Prof as a man, Prof as a teacher, and Prof as the president. And then I'll share the reflections of a mentee. It's important to look at Prof's character because his character defined everything he achieved, and his character is the reason why we're honoring him today. Prof was born on 21st July 1944 in Tapua, Western Region, and he tragically passed away on July 24, 2012, just 3 days after his 68th birthday. But in those 68 years, Prof lived a life that exemplified the highest ideals of scholarship, public service, and human dignity. He was born to John Atta Sr., an educationist at Commended Teacher Training College, and Mercy Dawson Amua. Young Fifi was a second child and the first son among 7 siblings. From his father, we learn that he inherited a love of learning and teaching, and from his mother, he gained the gentle strength that would characterize his leadership style. His educational journey, as we've been told, took him from Honey Valley Methodist Primary School to Commenda Methodist Middle School, and then to Achimota School, where he completed his ordinary and advanced level certificates in 1961 and 1963. At the University of Ghana, he completed his Bachelor of Law degree and Professional Law certificate in 1967. Mills's pursuit of higher education took him to the London School of Economics for his LLM in 1968, and then to the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, where he earned his PhD in law in 1971 at the remarkably young age of 27. His selection as a Fulbright scholar to Stanford Law School in 1971 was not merely an academic achievement. It was a testament to Prof's character and potential. The Fulbright program chose him not just for his intellectual capabilities, but for his potential to be a bridge builder and a leader. At Stanford, his colleagues remember him as someone who listened more than he spoke, who asked thoughtful questions, and who approached every challenge with both intellectual rigor and human compassion. He was, in the words of one Stanford professor, a scholar gentleman in the truest sense of the term. Perhaps no quality defined Mills the man more than his humility. In a continent where political leaders are often known for high-handed approaches to power, Mills remained remarkably grounded throughout his life and presidency. His humility was not weakness, it was strength under control. This humility was evident in his famous declaration that I have always said that I will be president for all Ghanaians, whether they voted for me or not, and without consideration for which part of the country they come from. These were not mere campaign promises. They were the words of a man who truly understood that leadership is service and not privilege. His approach to leadership emboldened me personally on 2 occasions to tell him, while he was president, that I thought a decision he took was wrong, and in another case, the decision was unfair because he had not listened to the other party. Typical of Prof, he took the criticism very calmly. We argued as lawyers, and he told me, when you're president, you see things very differently. Eventually, in one of the matters, months later, I got a message from him. He said, "You were right and I was wrong." That was an emotional moment for me and a great lesson in leadership. And I did learn that power that fears criticism is already bankrupt. In an era when political integrity often seemed like an oxymoron, Mill stood as a beacon of moral leadership. His integrity was not situational, it was absolute. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, current president of Nigeria, best captured this aspect of Prof in his tribute when Prof died. He said, "President Atta Mills was a man with a profound, comprehensive intellect. Unlike many individuals whose public courage as a politician diverges negatively from their private persona, the private and public morals and practices of this man were undifferentiated. There was no seam dividing the public official from the private man. He was guided by a moral compass that did not waver according to the circumstance." Before President Tinubu knew this, those of us who were his students knew this already. Interesting story from first year. We had decided to go to London over the summer holidays to job. My first challenge, of course, was getting a visa. I went for the visa interview, and the official interviewing me asked me what I was going to do in London for 3 months. I told him I was going to see the sights. And he said, "You're a law student." I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay. Can I advise you?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Before you become a lawyer, make sure you become a better liar." I said, "Thank you." I got my visa, and with my roommates, we went off to London to job. Then the university reopened, and we were late. I managed to get into Ghana before my two roommates, and I managed to get myself registered for second year. My two roommates came back, and they were told by the dean that they had been deferred for 1 year. One of my roommates, Irama, was actually a niece of Professor Mills, who was vice dean. So we figured, go to Prof's home, go and plead, and of course, if Prof makes a case for Irama, it means everybody else can sneak through. So Irama goes to Mills's house that evening and comes back to our room, very, very angry. He said, "What did Prof say?" "Oh, Prof said, it's only 1 year. It doesn't matter. You can study French or computer during that 1 year." So at that point, everybody else knew that there was no hope. Irama spent the year studying French. So we knew that his approach to corruption was uncompromising. So when he said, "I would not spare any government official, be it past or present, who would be found guilty of embezzling state funds," it was not political rhetoric, it was a moral conviction that guided his administration. Prof was also fundamentally a man of peace. This was not passive pacifism, but active peacemaking. He understood that peace was not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, understanding, and mutual respect. His philosophy of peace was captured in his words: "We are going to ensure that there is peace before, during, and after the election. Because when there is no peace, it's not the elites who will suffer. It's the ordinary people who have elected us into office." When we were students, Prof told my class, this was the peacemaker, that as far as possible, we should make sure we're not the reason for anyone losing their job. Many of my classmates remember this caution. We can't remember what we're talking about. Later in my public life, trying to be the good mentee, I applied this advice to my own significant harm. But the good thing was, Prof was right. There was peace because I took the path of peace. So, peaceful Prof still wins the day. But there's also another story one of the students told me that showed me that although it was good that Prof was peaceful, Prof would have been a very poor litigation lawyer. So Commonwealth boys went on a protest and misbehaved very badly. In their words, they disciplined a particular student. So the head of their JCR was in trouble. And the student who had been disciplined was a relative of Prof. Mills and went to hire Prof as his lawyer. Prof calls the dean of students and says he wants to see the Commonwealth president and ask him that, you people went to do ABC? And he said, yes. Prof said, let me advise you. Go quickly to the student who was disciplined and go and beg and make peace. Because I know it was a prank that went too far, but if it goes to court, you guys can be in a lot of trouble. The guy quickly sneaked there. He didn't even tell Prof that he was also the chief choir master. And he went and he apologized and made peace, and that's how the matter died. So most litigation lawyers would know that this is not the path to making money, but that was Prof. But Prof's character was also shaped by his love of sports and by his being a family man and a Christian. He loved sports. Everyone knew this, particularly hockey. He played for the Ghana national hockey team, and he learned valuable lessons about teamwork, discipline, and fair play. The values from the hockey field, working together toward common goals, respecting teammates and opponents, understanding that individual success means nothing without team success, would later inform his political leadership. Most of my law school colleagues will recall male students gathered around Prof after lectures. They were not discussing law or tax. They were discussing football. That was a measure of the man. Behind the public figure